is the name change for Artie. Maybe he's hidden his identity from the rest of the world. Maybe these options. I prefer to think that he was just a figment of our imagination, so that we can forget that Team Flash has just been bad all split, and that they ever actually had a good support in the first place.
Oh, Rebel, I don't understand. But regardless, into the game we go. I know I'm far away from my cameras because I knocked things over getting onto the floor. Anyway, what a disaster of a bit. Oh, man.
Our start to the day has been great.
It's something great. The desk did great.
They did fantastic for filling for time.
But regardless, we do have a good composition coming out for both of these teams. I am really excited to see this Team Secret lineup because this is probably one of the most aggressive lineups we've seen in a very long time.
Yeah, it's a matter of like, over the course of the split, they've really kind of come into their own. I've very much appreciated some of the differences that they've looked into actually changing since the beginning of the splits. One of the things I had talked about with this team, since obviously they're locked for playoffs, they're locked for third place pretty much no matter what the situation. We can appreciate them for a lot more than what they are at this point, which is a third place team who's only beaten teams below them in the standings. What's really incredible about them is that they ended up with an X factor, which is something I knocked them for previously in the split, and that was Artifact. And I know our desk touched about it quite a bit, but I'm really excited to see what this team can do when Artifact is actually performing like the at one point what was a top 2, top 3 mid laner inside of the VCS appears to be back on similar type standing from when that was actually the case.
Yeah, 100% agree. Penguin having an early look. Level 3 Volibear entering a lane with a flash. He's basically Thanos, but the 50-50 that was snapped was just Erlis's flash.
Yeah, would you look at that? Again, we talk about this all the time. I think we even talked about it last time we were casting together, which was just on Sunday, which is that we don't like it when Volibear doesn't go ganking at level 3, and burning a Cinder Slash this early in the game sets up Artifact for individual plays against Erlis, who has not been the greatest of mid laners for the side of Team Flash. I don't think that's disputable in the slightest. And also sets up for repeat ganks for Penguin a little bit later in the game. I mean, just burning a Control Mage's Flash takes so much off the board here for the side of Team Flash that it's a little bit ridiculous to think of how much power they just got for this.
Sure. What do you think of this Lucian top lane pick? Just overall, do you actually agree with it on a holistic level?
It is a little crazy to think about Lucian going into the top lane, especially blind. It's not something that you typically do, which is kind of ballsy from Hero. Although I much prefer to see a team playing with a confidence level like this rather than not. So on a holistic level, to me, it speaks to the fact that Hero says, hey, look, it's Yoshino, who's like regarded as a very good top laner for a very long time. And he just goes, yeah, I'll blind you, Lucian, into him. That's fine. Like,
still level 3. Penguin coming in. This time they'll land the damage. There it is. No chance to fire back. We go down to the bot lane immediately where Slater has picked himself up a kill against the Caitlyn Karma lane. That is a real disaster. Eddie now trying to find his way out. Lands the Piltover Peacemaker. He's still firing back into Slater. But with the Rakan there, he can't actually try and make anything happen. That's a big win for Flash.
That it is. Using the power of the Rakan and the Xayah in the bottom lane here at just the level 3 mark, especially with like enhanced attack speed, makes it so difficult. Even with the Karma lane, if you're just in position correctly here, it's very easy to punish, especially with the feathers coming out from Slater. And I think right there, Zuhao got a little bit caught off. It shouldn't be a situation where they're often finding themselves in a position to get capitalized on by these feather pulls and things like that. But obviously, right there, Slater with a little bit of masterclass. Although again, mid lane punished on Penguin. Penguin kind of wants to do the same thing. He postures to bottom lane, but isn't likely to find anything. Instead, it's just going to be a massive push and advantage through.
Ikigai having a gaze up to the top side. That's an easy kill onto Hero. They shut down that Lucian solo lane.
Oh. Slater is in very, very dire straits. He wants to catch this wave. There are a lot of minions in this wave. He's down a very significant amount of gold, but Penguin is really not wanting them to actually have that kind of an impact.
Good job there by Zodiac, arresting the play for now, uses the battle dance with the enhanced range to get out as well. That was very good Rakan play.
Slater is still sticking around. I know he doesn't have that much health off of his bar right now, but they really, really are trying to salvage the last ends of this wave, which is incredible to me because they had a bit of a tough time. Yeah, Zuhao just stepping a little too far up. I think he wanted to poke with a little bit of the kind of Q damage coming out from the Karma. And Slater, what good positioning from Slater to actually get a reposition on both the Q and the E pull to get some additional damage after the Alcove Gaming came out here. That was actually a lot better than I even thought it was going to come through from Slater, which is really cool to see. But again, kind of got clamped out in the bottom lane. Props to Penguin for being able to punish a little bit of the overstay, because obviously Slater wanted to clear that wave. Ended up being a pretty massive farm advantage for Eddie, all things said and done.
Yeah, it works out pretty well. Now we have a little scrap over the chickens, and who hasn't gotten into a brawl at KFC? This one will get diffused by the security guards. It's not a too rowdy Saturday night.
Oh. Okay.
Look,
We're not
I worked
done
at
yet.
McDonald's for like 6 months. I've seen things. But anyway, in goes Penguin. He does get onto Ikigai. The tether is there as well. He's got a blast cone. If he can actually hit it, they do that well. And the battle dance again will get the Rakan out.
Really unfortunate. The angle right there on that blast cone was just not sufficient for Penguin to be able to continue that play into Ikigai, who is able to sneak out just over top of the wall. Because otherwise, Penguin just gets away with absolute murder, if not even more right there. But thankfully, again, Ikigai positioned so that, of course, the blast cone sends up over the wall. Does yield the dragon, because obviously the Lee Sin can't really step back in after that. But again, Penguin, what an early game he's had already. He burnt the flash of the mid laner off the back of his own. He actually has his flash up faster, which is kind of incredible to me that he's going to be able to punish once again, and Early's flash is still not up, so if he wanted to, he could try to punish him after he comes back in after the back time, or even right now. And again, bullying out Ikigai, bullying out the bottom lane. Penguin feels like he knows exactly where he needs to be in this game.
Yeah, so far, this is one of the better Volibear performances I've seen. This is a champion that doesn't have too much mechanical depth to it. Let's not be dishonest. Slater tethered up, but again, Zodiac with those enhanced abilities is able to do a whole lot. But I want to go back on this Penguin point, because I've been very frustrated with VCS junglers not ganking when Volibear is actually powerful and making the pick look a little bit useless. So far, Penguin has been exactly where he needs to be.
Yeah.
Oh no, the feathers land! Eddie flashing. They can't land a little bit of extra damage, but that's just a summoner spell burned.
Now he's going to green for the wave as well.
He's got heal.
He does. Maybe they're trying to bait in Zodiac. Yeah.
Risky stuff. Penguin and Ikigai having a clash. I really don't want to look away from bot lane, though. I feel like there's still action down there. It's not as important as a Grom.
There's nothing but action anywhere on this map at the moment. The bottom lane, how in the world are the health bars back to being normal? Okay, the heal ended up getting burnt. Yeah, heal ended up getting burnt from Eddie, and he's got that fleet footwork, so a couple of auto attacks here or there is all that was necessary for Eddie to equalize the actual play.
Yoshino, good flash there, getting away from all the Lucian damage, but now there's a big bear crashing down on him, and Ikigai knows there's nothing he can do to help. He was only that level 5, so Yoshino will fall.
And talking about what's happened so far with Penguin isn't even just the kills. I'm going to wait for bottom lane because they've been really drastically just trying to punish the low health bars of both Zodiac and Slater here. You can see the CS advantage that's really been occurring. There's the heal to set them up.
Yeah.
Slater?
Yeah, going very low. The Feather Storm comes out. Needs one more auto attack. Will find it. Eddie, one more. He goes down to that last little bit of damage. Zodiac extremely low. One more minion auto attack would have done it, but the Rakan will survive. Now Ikigai finds the boot onto Penguin. There is, of course, no Volibear ult. He gets a little chomp. He gets a smite as well to try and get away. Now has Yoshino to deal with. He can't.
Has the support of the rest of his lanes, does Ikigai. Now, of course, he has to leave, so I don't think Rift Herald is actually on the table here. But across the map, it is impossible not to talk about the influence. Yes, he just went down, and Penguin, of course, was trying to just wrestle away river pressure with this Volibear early game. Ikigai able to, again, get the support of his lanes to get there faster. But what an impact he's had on this map already, setting bottom lane to a very, very advantageous state, setting mid lane to the same place for Artifact. Even Hero, he had an effect up there, being able to get the kill against Yoshino, has already been all over this map to kick things off, and it's had such a profound difference inside of a game like this. Like, this bottom lane doesn't have an advantage of this kind if it isn't for the impact that was held by Volibear just a minute ago.
Yeah, and this was so close in the end. That was a hair's breadth. If Zodiac had landed that W, it's a double kill for Slater. But unfortunately, because it doesn't come in, we are faced with a scenario where Eddie has a 30 CS lead, has already mined 2 plates with a third extremely close, and this Caitlyn is looking triumphant.
Yeah, and if you're in a position right now in Team Secret's kind of hands, your bottom lane is winning ambiently for the most part, just because your Caitlyn is ahead in terms of like CS pretty significantly over Slater. Not to the point where it's led to an itemization advantage yet, but the cool part is because you don't have to put resources into Caitlyn to win out the bottom lane so far, it means that Penguins had this bigger impact on top side, and it means that Rick Herald is available where he's just soloing it right now. But if you path back towards bot side, so if you go from like your top camps into your bottom camps and you're able to make this work, eventually you crack bottom tower, and all of a sudden this bottom lane gets even worse.
Zodiac moving forward, has the ultimate, lands the charm. They immediately blow up Eddie. That might be all they came for. Very clean play.
Despite Penguins' early antics and being able to actually accomplish quite a bit, Ikigai's actually done a pretty good job. Yeah, they're going to redive, and I think Zuhao is just kind of dead to rights here.
This is a Karma, can find a lot of health, but no, not enough. That was very well done. Again, two very, very well executed dives by Ikigai.
Again, Ikigai has been salvaging at least a little bit of what has been a pretty disastrous start to the game, to the point where like they're only down about 200 gold. Now, again, this Rift Herald play could break out bottom lane entirely, and all of a sudden things start to get a little bit wacky, because then you start putting a Caitlyn in another lane, start collecting additional plates, and that's when a Caitlyn really starts to thrive within the confines of a game. So we'll see if they're able to actually kind of manifest that type of play, because you can see Volibear's heading down to the bottom lane right now.
Yoshino taking a lot of damage there from the culling, equalizing these health bars. Hero not able to push in to actually get a second tower plate, but regardless, he is having a very comfortable laning phase. But despite these CS gaps, and there is a CS gap in every lane except the jungle, it is still dead even gold, pretty much. 300 gold between.
Yeah, the salvaging has definitely been here for the side of Team Flash, which has been a little shocking. Yeah, it's about to get very, very bad for a number of reasons. Again, now that Caitlyn's unlocked, all of a sudden you can start even accessing additional turret plates. And if they're not careful, all of a sudden Penguin actually dives onto Slater. It doesn't look like they're going to go for something that aggressive, since Zodiac and multiple other members could have been in the way. But if they really wanted to push this, they could have dove under tier 2 and tried to kill off Slater. And then all of a sudden your Xayah is just completely out of the game. Your Caitlyn is completely taken over with the additional gold, if she's not going to do so already. And now you start shifting the Caitlyn into top lane. You take 4 additional turret plates up there that are potential in the next minute or so, something like that, and you set up for Rift Herald as well if you need to.
Ooh, Ikigai trying to get in onto Hero, can't find anything, didn't actually have access to the kit quite yet, so it was sort of just a see you later. Now he's getting collapsed on though with Zhuhao and Artifact here. It's a 2v2, but a support in the mid laner up against a jungler and a top laner, they think better of it.
Yeah, and you can see the full swap coming in here, and as also a Volibear heading back to top lane, so they could just be pushing for a few more plates or something like that, or even just aggression into top tower. I know that you guys have been talking about how Artie is definitely should be inside this roster, and I don't think that's even arguable at this point. Not that, like, again, I don't want to trash on Zodiac that much, but Artie is just a good player, right? Like, we just want to see more Artie. He seemed to be a pretty solid addition to the rookie pool. I thought Ikigai was also at least good enough over top of Dante when we saw their performances that I thought Ikigai should have been starting most of the time. He usually had really clean kind of gameplay, had better thought out early games in the majority of the start of the season. And yeah, he made boneheaded mistakes, he made rookie mistakes, those things happen. And benching him for Dante was confusing, so he's been doing a great job.
There's a huge collapse coming in here. Speaking of Ikigai, he gets the play started off well, but Eddie is trying to smurf on him. Can't quite do it. Does go down to the ignite of Zodiac, but now Ikigai is on the wrong side of the tracks, and Artifact trades it back.
Yeah, they're attempting to break this setup that came through from the side of Team Secret, where again they move Eddie into top side. They're trying to pull some the tower. They're just keep going,
continuing it. That was a really, really good charm to land onto Slater. Forward goes the Volibear, dives in, and the birds have been plucked.
Wolf.
Straight.
Okay. Hello. Okay. Yeah. Nothing crazy with Hero. He's not going to end up in a position where he's going to go down. Yeah. Again, ramifications from this early game from Penguin continue to mount up. Not only as direct play, because you can see Penguin being able to run down Ikigai, being able to jump in on these two, but also again breaking Artifact out, where Artifact has enough of an advantage to really kind of move on earlies. That's something else as well. Right there, they almost grab a red buff away. Thankfully, I think at the last second, Ikigai pulled that one. But again, they're shifting this Volibear around in very effective ways. The dive here is to try to attempt to get Eddie out of the top lane position so that they can prevent the tower from going down, slow down some of the early game and the movement that Caitlyn really needs to be effective. Losing Ikigai, I don't even think you care about that much. The shutdown to Artifact kind of hurts, but your game plan's still the same nonetheless.
We come back to live and they lose Ikigai again. This time I think they might care as Penguin now knocked up, doesn't have the ultimate to gain any health, but Artifact is able to hold them back. This is a really, really fantastic Ari performance. I'm hoping maybe the mid laner on the other team might take some notes.
Made no effect in the early game has earlies, and Artifact all of a sudden is just like everywhere at once, right? Like, and again, off the back of some of the early play from Penguin being able to break out Artifact, now Artifact, who's been the X factor that stepped up for Team Secret over the last couple of games of the split, really has looked very good inside of this game and in a number of other games, which has changed the way the Team Secret has actually kind of operated in my brain as being this team of very wild consistency. And somebody that they've been able to rely on has been Artifact over the course of the split. So breaking him out, letting him be this kind of response on the top side to the multiple forms of aggression that Team Flash has put in, it's a little bit shocking to me right there. It looked like Team Flash were the ones putting aggression in. I just weren't expecting, I suppose, Artifact to be around and to be able to counterpunch that easily.
Yeah, so far, it really does feel like Team Secret are just reading Flash like an open book. You know, they've got the sports almanac. They know exactly what is going to happen before it happens. It is a 4,000 gold lead now at 16 minutes. That is not looking good for Flash. They are not a team that is particularly adept at comebacks. And I don't think their team comp is particularly lent towards it. They have a Cinder in the mid lane. They have that lethality Xayah, which, don't get me wrong, scale's okay. Hero. That's not the way Yoshino wanted to knock him. Doesn't land the follow-up. That's ugly.
Any more dashes, Hero? You got anything else in there? You burnt every dash, every flash, and every defensive summoner's play. Whew. All right.
He also apparently culled Ikigai down. Extremely low. There's no catch, but with that play failing on the bot side, they're going to lose their mid tower, and things go from bad to worse.
And despite some of the aggression that the side of Team Flash has actually found, oh, for a second.
Oh, there is a catch. There it is. Artifact. That time will finally be punished for trying to make too many plays as he's collapsed on by 4. Need to be careful. Zhu Hao as well has to cancel that back and run a little bit further. Eddie will want to be a little bit safe, but of course he is on the safe side. And while we are talking, Penguin is taking a rift.
Okay, so this is the first play that I think the TF have actually really taken a chance on that has led to something really positive when it comes to how the game state's playing out, right? Like, there have been good plays from Ikigai where he's like, okay, he's been able to get a kill here. He's been able to throw a wrench into the plans of Team Secret, but they haven't made a play that particularly looks like they're trying to set themselves up for future endeavors. It's just like, oh, this is a play of opportunity. We're executing on it. We're able to make it happen. And they collect some gold for it, which is why the gold was even for the beginning of the game. And this is another situation like that. The only positive part is, like, now they can trade an objective very easily. Like, Artifact isn't able to push out bot. You don't have reinforcements to poke away at this Team Flash when they go for the dragon. Instead, they just get a free dragon in exchange for the Rift Herald, which is something to talk about. But prior to this, Flash really hadn't had anything like that. They weren't able to capitalize on turret plates off the back of dives. They weren't able to use any of the kills to pull any kind of map pressure. Instead, it was just kills for kill's sake, which is fine, again, for being able to have gold in your back pocket, but that's all you're getting. While Team Secret, all of a sudden, they've broken structures. They've had Rift Heralds in their back pocket. They've gotten 2 dragons themselves. It's a bad position to be in because there's so much more that they've been able to accomplish off their kills.
Yeah, 100%. As this is reflected in that 3,000 gold lead with 2 dragons as well. Of course, Flash did manage to get one of their own against the play, but Team Secret are just looking so much better. We were touching on it earlier before the action broke out that Team Flash needed to be ahead. I needed to see Erlis doing something on this Syndra. The fact that he's 2,500 gold down against an Ari, it just really isn't good enough. They do have a very strong Slater as a catch onto Penguin, and Yoshino has a huge flank here. Teleport will come in to help them out.
Oh.
Yoshino now collapsing in onto Eddie. A lot of damage being dealt, but it's not lethal.
It's not. Nothing has been able to kind of full stick onto this team. Now, Team Flash did come to the defensive top tower, even with the Rift Herald. It was, Team Secret that weren't able to actually make anything happen there. So there's that into the back pocket of themselves. And the damage onto Eddie means that there's no real team fighting likely to come through. They're going to try it anyway.
Yeah, they do. That is going to be Penguin going in. Does get his engage a little bit stuffed by Zodiac, and now Team Flash are on the run. If they can escape here, that'll be a good result as Zhu Hao whips a Q forward. Zodiac again trying to jump away, but the Penguin will jump forward as well. In he goes. That's a lot of damage coming out of Ikigai, and now it's a turnaround with those feathers. They picked up 4 kills out of nowhere, Rebel, and now it's only Artifact left standing.
I was saying, what happened with Team Secret on top side? They lose so many cooldowns. They lose so much health bar. I'm like, they can't fight. They just leave, they walk out, and they take the damage that they dropped in. Instead, they're forcing the issue. They're like, hey, we need to run into Team Flash. We're stronger than them. Let's try it. Penguin's aggression finally gets punished. Look how far back they kited. They kited all the way out of mid lane into their own jungle, almost into the pixel brush type area, and were able to make it happen because Team Secret just kept throwing members further and further into them before the damage really stacked up between early Slater and the rest of the team. They're able to pull it together, and all of a sudden, D-Flash, they're even in gold. They got a Baron buff in their backhand. Minimum, this ties the Dragon count, likely ties the gold count, if not a little bit better. And props to a number of situations, because Penguin got kicked out to kick things off. Zodiac survived forever in this
any
somehow.
point.
Yeah, you can leave at any point.
You can leave at any time.
Any time now. Yeah, you are not forced to be here. This right here, I think, from Slater was really disastrous because he barely hit anything with that massive feather pull. But it was Earlis on the flank that actually did quite a bit here. I know we've been talking about how, like, we weren't sure which members were really going to be there. Right there, solid scatter of the week coming out from Earlis to be able to actually make a massive impact in that fight.
And they follow it up again as Penguin has been found in the river. He's very fast, particularly with that Karma, though, so he will survive. But now, Flash, wearing the Baron buff, able to take control of this game.
Yeah, they're breaking the trap line quite a bit. They're able to break down this tower effectively as well, because right now, Team Secret's actually playing on 3 lanes, which is a little bit hard. Now they could collapse to Hero as well, because you've got members actually going up here, so you're going to be able to shut down Hero on top of having taken the mid tower if you really, really want to. Looks like they're actually not going to full commit to that, which is a little strange to me. I feel like all they would have needed is one extra member heading up there. Like if Ikigai heads up there, almost certainly they get a kill against Hero. But instead they opt for the defensive mid lane instead, just making sure that they have enough members here in case something happens from Team Secret. They need to push out bot lane is something else that Team Flash desperately needs to do here, because obviously Dragon's going to be up in a couple of seconds. They have the Baron buff, so they need to work their way up in that direction. Early should have probably already been there, but that's okay because they got mid tower. They got a little bit of gold back in their pocket. They're tied in this game, and if they're just kind of posturing for team fighting, that's all right. Hopefully they can actually compete for this Dragon as well, because they tie up the Drake count. That's going to be a massive kind of differentiator in a game. This is what's really going to put them back in the driver's seat, potentially to contest for a win here.
Team Secret have set up a trap. Flash should be able to read this one fairly easily. Yeah, Ikigai knows exactly what's up. And now we have our clash. 4 seconds until the Dragon itself actually spawns.
Mm-hmm.
But Secret are first on it. They're just going to try and burst it down, but this is so risky against the Lee Sin. We'll be able to try and find a steal. It's going down fairly slowly.
Oh, quite a bit of space being given over. But yeah, it looks like they're just going to bail on that. That's reasonable. I mean, they're going to get first move on mid lane, which is it actually might end up being better for them just because they get mid inner tower off the back of this, and it's
They've
more
only
gold.
got 3 minions.
They do.
I feel like this was a blunder.
I thought that all 4 of the members in the mid lane were actually going to full commit to the tower, but it seemed like 2 of them were kind of hanging back, ready to help out Yoshino or to help out in a fight instead of anything else. They still do have enough members here to legitimately take the tower if they want to, but they've given so much back to Team Secret for setup in the defense that it looks like they're just going to have to bail on it. Yeah, this is Team Flash, I feel like, getting caught between multiple situations. Do you fight for Dragon? Do you try to push up mid lane? Do you try to push elsewhere on the map? And it ends up being that Team Secret kind of get away with the, just having nothing happen to them, when in reality something probably should have happened here. Team Flash not used to having a potential winning state on the map, I guess, that they're so uncomfortable they just really don't know what to do.
What do you think of this Yoshino build? This is just the AP Gragas. The desk was talking about the Fimbulwinter and stuff, but Ragnarok is not coming.
I mean, the defensive type build is good in a number of situations, especially when you're fighting against a bunch of melees. But if you look at this team, they're squishy through and through, except for Volibear, which means like all it takes from Yoshino is one good E flash into a backline, and all of a sudden you might just one tap 1 or 2 members of this team. 1 or 2 good barrels here or there are enough to actually make a massive difference in terms of the health bars in a fight like this. So I feel like that's what the play is from Yoshino. I wouldn't have disrespected the tank build. I don't think that's a wrong choice, but I also don't think the AP is that bad either. Here we go.
Collapsing onto Hero. Zodiac has the ultimate, but the flash is good enough. And there's no follow-up CC. Hero gets away, but the real crux of the play is the fact that they get that bot lane tower.
Absolutely.
Now,
training elsewhere. Yeah, that's the problem. They're kind of leaving Earlis on an island a little bit in a couple of different situations here.
Oh, and just go straight under tower with the ace in the hole as well. Eddie's the beneficiary. They pick up a kill. I feel like Flash, they don't know what to do.
Yeah, they're in a situation where it almost looks like Team Flash thinks they're down more gold than they are right now, because they're only down about 1,500 gold comparative to their opposition. Yet right there, I mean, they're playing 4 members into a side lane just to attempt to punish to get some gold back when they don't need to do that. You have enough. Like, you should have 2 members in the mid lane, potentially just like making sure that the mid tower isn't being taken. And right there also, Earl is stepping up a little bit too far, but he was trying to cover 2 lanes at once here. You have mid and top to defend, tries to push into Artifact, not expecting to rotate. But again, nobody else is on the map right now for Team Flash, and so what's stopping Team Secret from punishing them right there? Absolutely nothing, which is why they can get away with a play like that where they're diving into the base for free, basically with no ramifications.
And anytime you can dive into a base with no ramifications, you know something has gone desperately wrong, as you outlined. Now, we are 40 seconds away from Baron once again being an objective on the map. That duo recall will get the husband and wife out of there. Secret have Soul Point. They have a 1,000 gold lead, which, while not being anything monumental, is still something to keep track of. Ikigai does not have access to his jungle as well. We have the 3-item Caitlyn. Things are beginning to look dire once again for Flash.
Yeah, a position where they're not down that much gold, they still have to worry about a number of different things. The mobility of RAs, when they have to concern themselves with the damage that comes out from Lucian, is enough to supplant a ridiculously powerful team fight. And then, of course, you have the Caitlyn, which is it's just a sieging tool that's going to be really effective from the later portions of the game like this, where Team Flash, it feels like their main play here has actually just been to push mid lane and to look for team fights, which is, again, when the other team is as powerful as they are right here, I think Artifact is the big difference maker I'm looking for inside of fights to really kind of take things to another level for Team Secret. Actually,
Hero, you need to be careful, gets taken down by the Featherstorm. He tried to go huge there, but Slater just says no.
Yeah, Slater's really powerful. He's on 3-4 items right now on the lethality design. It does make it a little bit difficult now. Yeah.
Zodiac looking for the engage. Artifact stuffs it a little bit. The trap as well in the bush will take Earless very low. And now Secret decide that they might have something. But Ikigai finds his way onto Eddie, but they can't actually get the lethal damage. Artifact goes golden in the backside. Penguin will pick up the first kill, manage to get out. No, never mind. The Feather's pulling back. Gets 2. And now Eddie has the world on his shoulders and he can't carry it. Artifact, last man alive, throws out so many spells. He's got a lot of damage. The Gragas will go down, but look at Slater. This is a bird soaring through the skies and getting Flash back in it once again.
The biggest problem with a composition like this from the side of Team Secret is no one is here to dive onto Slater at all, especially when you have members like this Gragas, like this Rakan, that prevent them from really just running at Slater in general. And so you have to set up a position where there's no space for them to move to, because how easy is it for Team Flash to just get out of dodge when the time comes that they need to do so? Penguin cannot find an angle to get into this backline and really make an effect. Hero going down is tough because he's the highest mobility member of the team. He's got a ridiculous amount of damage. This is who should be diving Slater in the midst of fights to keep Slater honest, to make sure feathers aren't getting dropped consistently. But you can see the effect of Yoshino, the effect of Zodiac. I also want to give props to Ikigai because he had a filthy kick at the midst of this fight. But again, where's Penguin going right here? Very nice kick. I'm really upset that Zodiac ended up missing Eddie because it kept him alive longer in this fight than he wanted. But again, Penguin has to run directly into the absolute onslaught that is the feather that comes through.
The awareness from Slater to know exactly where his feathers were came in so huge. And yeah, okay, Artifact manages to get this kill onto Yoshino, but then you're up against the League power couple, and a quadra kill for Slater is the only result.
And it seems as though right now, Team Flash, their fighting is looking on point, at least a little bit, which is shocking because we haven't talked about them being a really premier team fighting team, yet somehow Slater is putting on his big boy carry pants on a day like today to make sure that that's happening. I think a byproduct of it is the draft, but again, like you said, Slater has had moments where he's looked brilliant, and there's a reason why. This guy's a veteran ADC, and he's an expert ADC for a number of reasons. There's a reason why Yolway flames me every time I say that Slater isn't like a top 3, top 4 ADC in the league, and it's because there was a time and a place where he was the #1 in the league. Well, it's showing right here now.
Yeah, 100%. He's always had the mechanical skill. We've always just questioned maybe some of his champion pool, but this Xayah looks absolutely fantastic. Earless goes really low, but has the stopwatch to keep themselves safe. 6,000 health on a Baron as well. Team Secret trying to sneak this one away, Rebel. 4,000 health. Ikigai knows what's up. Can go in, try and get a steal. Has Yoshino to throw a barrel as well. They can time this well, but not well enough. Penguin will get the smite, and this does not allow for any contest. Secret will get away with 5.
The Q went in about 2,500, 3,000 health, somewhere in there for Ikigai. And so as the Q starts to tick off, and it's like, I have to make a commitment. Do I go into the pit or do I not go into the pit if you're Ikigai? Had to take a shot on it because, again, if it's sitting on 2,000 health, you can't just let it sit there. You can't let your Q die off because then you have to burn a flash, which he doesn't have, or a ward hop, something that would keep him in the pit just to try to 50-50 it. So instead, he goes in with the Q, trying to catch them off guard. Comes really, really close to both of them having the smite at the same time and getting the 50-50, but does not end up happening. Well done by Penguin to secure that one in a very, very quick moment of what could have been high aggression. It could have been a very massive game shifter here from Ikigai, but doesn't come through. Instead, Team Secret capture back control of this game. And this Baron buff's a lot more impactful for them, right? Like Team Flash getting one, that's really good, but they're focusing on team fighting as opposed to Team Secret, who have this incredible siege composition that they're able to use with the Caitlyn.
When does Yoshino use the big barrel? Because I feel like if he has the ult,
yeah, you got to use it to help burst.
Yeah,
yeah. The Q had already been landed. Oh, yeah, he did have to work up.
He missed the Baron. That's shocking.
That's a little shocking.
It might not have made the difference in the end. It might not have made the difference in the end because Penguin obviously still has just as much of a smite as Ikigai does, but still not very good as Hero, dealing a lot of damage with the culling. They call in a teleport as well. With Slater around, they need the backup of Artifact, but this 2-lane press has been deployed as the rest of Secret is on the bottom side cracking the base.
Yeah, it's a situation where this is where Team Secret was trying to get to the entirety of the game, and while Team Flash has been an annoyance up until this point to prevent them from actually getting to the Baron buff, sieging with this composition that they've got, they haven't been able to find anything. Oh no!
Ikigai trying to find a way in. Zodiac does it.
Okay.
That's going to be a kill straight in onto Artifact. Hero's still here, but he can't make any play in the 1v3. And Rebel, I think there is a really, really easy way to explain what is happening in this game and the dynamic. It's macro versus micro. I think Team Secret has been pretty flawless in knowing where they need to be on the map and making these decisions. Look at this. They're still breaking open the base. Flash has not been assigning their players to the right area, but when it has come down to these 5v5 clashes, Flash has been the better team. And now with Slater coming in from the side, Zodiac tries to go forward, but just gets instantly one shot. Can't get the engage. Slater goes extremely low, has to exit the fight, but they do manage to get the kill back onto the volley bear. Eddie has the trap under them. Hero gets the kill. 2 for 2 on the way out.
Find 2 of the members that can actually put a bunch of pressure into their backline, and so this should be at least a little bit of calming here inside of the storm for the side of Team Flash. Like you're saying, Team Secret is clearly better in terms of like being able to macro the game, being able to know what it is that they should be doing across the map, no matter what the situation. And there have been fantastic bright spots from Team Flash. If you look at only this game's kind of highlight reel fights, you'd actually be like, wow, Team Flash is doing an incredible job inside of a game like this. But it's been everything around it that really has been the setup that Team Secret has been looking for. And this is the reason why they don't lose to teams worse than them inside of the standings, right? It's because they don't just have to rely on team fighting. They don't just have to rely on kind of micro decisions or anything like that when they lose an advantage or anything along those lines. Instead, they can rely on being able to know what they should be doing on the map with their composition. Kind of their knowledge basis and their experience really does yield very good results against teams that really don't know how to attack them when they've got that advantage, like Team Flash. This is the difference between it being kind of primarily being built from rookies like Team Flash and a team like Team Secret where they've got experienced members across the board.
Yeah, 100%. It makes a lot of sense. Team Secret, their Baron buff has now timed out, but they got a very good result out of it as only Nexus towers stand, and the inhibitors themselves, of course. They are able to push in, but again, they are skittish about 5v5s. They do find Zodiac. He goes gold, can buy some time, can try and battle dance out of there, but no, he gets taken down by the Lucian. Penguin as well, managing to ward off any clapback there by Yoshino. And with that support going down, I don't know how Flash can hold this. One in the mid in him will fall, and they are looking for the triple.
It's a tough one. It's a bad situation to find yourself in if you're Team Flash. They've got 4 members. They've got no strike. Oh, that's a pick!
Oh,
no!
Ellis goes down. Slater, can you do this? The towers are turned off. They do come back on now. Another charm lands in onto Yoshino. He goes down. Now they can just hit the Nexus. They don't actually need to win the fight. They will zone Slater out as well. And this is going to be Team Secret. Slater tried everything, but the secret was that it never mattered because TS go up 1-0.
It does give me faith that Team Flash in a right situation actually can take a game here off of the side of Team Secret. But again, when you've got this kind of a backing to yourself,